Before watching this, watch the link above! Do it!
I don't sing, I don't tell stories. The Louise and Brenna Show! On this episode of the Louise and Brenna Show, we'll be teaching you how to make Carol cookies. All you'll need is a pan, and some parchment paper, some cookies, and a bit of Carol magic. But since we don't have that, we'll be analyzing a TED Talk. Yay. Summary. The TED Talk we chose was the Jill and Julia show. In the show, they had three main arguments. The first was that heroes are not perfect and that they all have flaws. They gave examples such as heroes being drunk and depressed, poets committing suicide, founding fathers having slaves, and certain politicians that they liked supporting the war, and Oprah supporting a book and movie that they didn't like. I can't tell you what it's called because it's a secret. The secret. And they argued about pseudoscience and its legitimacy. The second argument that they had was that there was two sides to each story. They showed this by telling personal stories about the day they met and how one was shy and the other was not. And the third main argument was that some things work and sometimes they don't. Mistakes happen, and they show this by giving examples like things like weed and an imperfect performance to the audience to show that sometimes things work and sometimes they don't, and it's okay. A minor argument they made was to not eat sushi in front of a fish tank because it's just wrong. Now put the cookies in the oven for 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Ethos! Julia, in the Jill and Julia show, is a writer for Fox Network. Jill was talking about how much she admired Julia when they first met, and vice versa. However, Jill's credibility goes down once we learn that she has participated in illegal activities. Logos! Louise, I have a question about logos. Who do I ask when I need to know? Oh, how do Jill and Julia support their main argument? Well, they use an extreme amount of examples over a wide range of celebrities in order to support their main argument, which is that heroes aren't perfect. Oh, so these examples convince the audience to believe their argument. Exactly. For example, when talking about that movie that they mentioned, but I cannot say because it's a secret, The Secret, they compare it to saying the Da Vinci Code is like War and Peace, or that the movie What the Bleep Do We Know is like a Harvard presentation on quantum mechanics. In other words, they're saying that it's like saying some crazy theoretical idea that is found in the Da Vinci Code and the What the Bleep Do We Know is an actual legit idea that should be called a law and used in regular science. However, their personal opinions are given on subjects like pseudoscience, and this clouds their argument. We can also interpret that their views are liberal because of how they discuss anti-war and pot smoking. Also, the singing and storytelling doesn't make sense as a performance together logically, but somehow they do it. Pathos! Julia adds a lot of emotion into the presentation when she talks about her mom and the pseudoscience movie that Oprah is supporting. This passion is pushed onto the audience and causes them to feel the same way she does about the movie. However, it is slightly attacking, but it comes across as a united opinion that makes the entire audience disagree with the movie. This is contrasted with how Jill makes the audience feel, which is calm and laid back. The beat of the presentation makes it easy to watch and flowy and adds the humor in order to make the audience feel more engaged. Our relationship to the TED Talk. I love this TED Talk! This TED Talk represents the duality scene between two people and two sides of every story. It's also relevant to that quote that was on the first slide of this unit. Nobody's perfect, I gotta work it again and again till I get it right. There's also a shift from the admiration to dislike because of the actions that people do. This shows how the contrast between novels that use descriptions using appearances and physical descriptions and ones that use actions as more descriptors. We picked this TED Talk because we wanted to sing the intro. Purpose. The purpose of this TED Talk was to show that heroes aren't perfect and that they all have flaws. In this case, Jill is Julia's hero and vice versa, but they're both still heroes even though they have flaws. It's also Julia's opportunity to rant about the movie called The Secret, if that wasn't clear before.
There are more purposes to this presentation, including to entertain the audience and include singing in a presentation that has deeper meaning, including the things that she just talked about. It's also the overall purpose is just to persuade the audience of their argument that our heroes are not perfect and that's okay.
I don't sing, I don't tell stories, but Louise and Brenna, Louise and Brenna, Louise and Brenna show! Brenna got me these for Christmas! And Sarah got me these socks!
Hey, over there, please forgive me if I'm coming on too strong. Hate to stare.
You'll just need a pan! This episode of